Why did I say that? Because the question for him to answer, for Stephen, it is, how did he divided the whole streets of time from 1914 until the end of the system of things? How did he do it? Where did he base his conclusion to ascertain the exact year when he can rightly call it the final part of the last days in the first place? And from that, he will again ascertain the final part of the final part. So in this, he is employing a mathematical operation of division. He is dividing the streets of time from 1914 up to the end of Christ. So what did he employ? What kind of mathematical operation did he do here so that he can ascertain that we are now living in the final part of the last days? I was becoming redundant here because that is the natural result of discussing this redundancy from Stephen Lett. So, if Stephen Lett has employed to discuss this part, to elaborate this topic, if he has employed the watches in the night, wherein our Lord has alluded or likened the diligent and vigilant attitude that Christian must have on the return of their Lord, Jesus has likened the watches to the watches of the Roman soldiers during their time. And the Roman soldiers has divided the night from 6 p.m. up to the 6 a.m. of the following day into 4 equal quadrant. So meaning, after 3 hours, the changes guard. So, if the governing body has put us on the final part, that will mean that we are now in the fourth watch of watching, being on the watch on the return of Christ. So, if we are now in the final part of the fourth watch, if we will divide it again in a quadrant, that will give us roughly 3 to 5 years until Armageddon. But that is only an elaboration if what in the mind of Stephen Lett is the fourth watches being mentioned by Jesus that Christians should do. And I based that computation from 1914 up to the present, because we are now already 100 plus 106. If I'm right, we are already 106 years from 1914. So, or 126. So, that's it. That short period of time remaining. But if Stephen Lett has divided the time by 10, then what remains is more than 1 year before Armageddon. So that will be the natural consequence of stating that we are now in the final part of the last days, which they are stating began on the year 1914. So it is very, very irresponsible. They just want to take advantage of what is happening right now in the world to secure and to reassure their clutches on the lives of their followers. And that's it. So we can confidently say, we can confidently predict. No, this is not a prediction. Actually, this is a conclusion. We can confidently say, conclude, that this is yet another, will be another failed prediction from the leadership of the Jehovah's Witnesses. So because of that, one of their members of the governing body has already stated a defense for this kind of repeated and continuous failed prediction from the governing body about the end of the world. And this member of the governing body we're going to present this afternoon on one of his broadcasting is Mark Sanderson. In this video, he defended their irresponsibleness of stating baseless prediction, baseless Bible, baseless prediction that will that has failed and will surely failed. He has made a statement that defends their failed predictions. And that video, he has likened themselves, the governing body, including him, to a crazy dog barking at the middle of the night when its owner is in deep sleep, barking at the middle of the night for no reason at all. So when the owner check the reason for the disturbance or why his dog is barking, he found out that there's no one or there is no other people the dog is barking at, or no other animals on the surrounding. So Mark Sanderson has posed this question to his viewers. Are you going to shoot your dog because he is barking, or there is no reason he is barking? Of course, you will not do that. So on that video, he is likened himself and the other members of the governing body to a bunch of dogs barking in the middle of the night for no reason at all. He stated that he equated that barking to the failed predictions of the governing body with regards to the end of the world. So maybe my bashers and critics will accuse me again of putting words to the mouth of a governing body. So for you not to say that, then I'm just misrepresenting your leaders. You watch this.
Just imagine if you had a watchdog and that dog barks in the middle of the night and you get up and there's nothing there. Do you shoot the dog? It only proves that the dog is doing what you want it to do. So in a similar way, realize the faithful slave. Yes, in the enthusiasm, sometimes we have said things that maybe disappointed others. But remember, the role of the faithful and discreet slave is to feed us, to keep us awake spiritually.
There he is. He defended themselves by making an illustration, but unwittingly liken themselves to a bunch of crazy dogs barking in the middle of the night for no reason at all. And that is not one more. That is his statement on the GW broadcasting. That is their way of escaping the blame from their failed predictions. And not only that, there are other ways on how they try to deflect the blame from their failed predictions. They uses scriptures, and let's examine just two of them when they use this to defend their dishonorable honor from their failed predictions. What they're using is John chapter 21 verses 22 and 23. It says there, Jesus said to him, if it is my will for him to remain until I come, of what concern it is that to you? You continue following me. So the saying went out among the brothers that his disciple would not die. However, Jesus did not say to him that he would not die, but he said, if it is my will for him to remain until I come, of what concern is that to you? They're using this by saying that the first disciples of Christ has made some false conclusions and assumptions regarding of what Jesus has stated or teach them. But here, at the two verses we have read here, it is not the fault of the leaders, Jesus Christ. He did not stated a false conviction or a false teaching or a false prediction. What he stated is a fact. What it is that to you if I want him to remain until I come. And who are the ones that made a wrong assumption here? It is the ordinary disciples of Christ. It is not even the apostles who told them that Jesus told them on that particular day that the apostle John will remain alive until the coming of Christ. It is not Jesus. It is not the 12 apostles, the leadership. It is the wrong assumptions or understanding of the ordinary members. So, back to the governing body, the false predictions did not come from the ordinary members. It is from the leadership, from the governing body themselves. So they should not. They have no business using these verses to defend their failed predictions. It is like a teacher who told the right thing to his student, and his student did not understand what he taught them. So, are you going to blame the teacher? But if the student or the teacher has taught the students wrong lessons, and the student believe that, are we going to blame the student? Yes. The blame should be put to the teacher. And the governing body has the gall to use these verses to deflect blames from their side. That is very irresponsible. And let's move on to another verses that they uses to justify the wrong predictions of the end of the world. It is here at Acts chapter 1 verses 6 and 7. So when they had assembled, they asked him, Lord, are you restoring the kingdom to Israel at this time? He said to them, it does not belong to you to know the times or seasons that the Father has placed in His own jurisdiction. So, the apostles asked the resurrected Christ if He is going to restore the kingdom to Israel during that time. They are just asking Him. And Jesus directly told them that it is not for them to make assumptions or predictions. It is not for them. The Father will do it at His own time. So, why this verse is not an appropriate verse to be used by the governing body to defend themselves regarding the predictions. First of all, it is just natural for any people, including them, each one of them, the governing body, to have a personal conclusion regarding what a particular event that is happening. But, to teach it to other people that it is the truth, that it will definitely occur, that it definitely happen in the future, it is a very different thing. Here in this verse, the apostles asked Jesus, and when Jesus answered them, there is no report or any verse in the Bible that the apostles told the other disciples of Christ, or the new ones in the congregation, that Jesus will restore the kingdom of Israel in the first century. So, it is good for them that they talk to heart what Jesus has told them regarding to their inquiry. But the governing body is not content of making personal conclusion to their own mind. They are teaching it to millions of people around the world that a particular year will be the end of the world for their members to faithfully and unconditionally support the program of their organization. Yes, it is for their own interest that they are doing that. So, that's all, my dear viewers. I just hope that I have satisfied the request of discussing this topic about 12 predictions of the governing body. Thank you, and may you have a good day.